the big debate that we are, of course, going to engage in. Was this ill-conceived, poorly conceived by the central government now that it is making concessions? It seems to be in damage control mode. Joining me this evening, Supriya, Shrinate, Congress spokesperson, as well as Sanju Verma of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Good evening to both of you. Sanju, I'll come across to you first. Was this poorly conceived, the scheme, now that the government is making concessions, making announcements about possible job opportunities that Agniveers will have post the completion of their 4-year tenure in the armed forces?
You know, Poulomi, first and foremost, let me tell you, is the Agnipath scheme going to make the Indian Army leaner, meaner, fitter and more competitive? The unequivocal answer is yes. Will it lower the average age of the armed forces from 32 to 26 years? The answer is a vehement yes. Are Agniveers going to be left high and dry after 4 years of service, including 6 months of training? The answer is a resounding no, and I say that with full responsibility and confidence because tell me at the age of 21 or 22, after you've done the 4 years of mandated service under the Agnipath scheme, you will have 48 lakh of insurance cover. You will have a kitty of 11.71 lakh rupees. You will be given preference in government jobs in certain areas. There is a 10% reservation, be it the CAPF, the Assam Rifles, 16 other public sector undertakings. Tell me how many youngsters in the country at the age of 21, 22 have, world-class training, the stamp of the Indian Army, which is one of the largest armed forces and a credible one at that globally. So the tangible monetary benefits apart, look at the intangible benefits. And I also want to say one more thing. Even today, most soldiers, they retire by the age of 35 or 37. I've heard various people from the military on your channel saying that they joined by the age of 20 or 22, they serve 15 years or so, and by the time they're 35 or 37, they retire.
Okay.
What do they get? They get pension benefits, so there is monetary security. But tell me honestly with a hand on your heart, is it not more feasible and more practical for somebody at the age of 21, 22 to take risks and, seek alternative career paths rather than somebody at the age of 35 and 37 doing so?
Okay, Sanju,
And
the point is, your point is well taken. The point is well taken. But the fact is, it's very reassuring. It's welcome as well that you're putting forth over there very candidly. Okay.
Can I please finish in 10 seconds, Poulomi? Thank you.
Okay.
Poulomi, the biggest charge is that the Modi government did not, mull through the entire scheme and it was hastily announced. Whereas, I have heard on your channel, Admiral R. Hari Kumar saying in no uncertain terms that the entire scheme was thought through by all the major stakeholders, including the 3 service chiefs for the last 2 years, and the decision to bring down the age from 32 to 26 years, which is one of the prime tenets of Agnipath scheme, was also recommended by the Kargil War Commission way back in 1999-2000. So I would like to believe that these protests are not organic. Your own channel has shown that in Kanpur, what the cats are saying, Thane mein aag laga do, police chowki mein aag laga do.
Okay,
now I would like to believe that there's more to it than meets the eye.
So are you saying that the protests in Jammu and Kashmir, in Haryana, in Uttar Pradesh, in Bihar, in Kerala, in Telangana, everywhere, West Bengal, it's all, orchestrated? Someone's behind all of this? This is not organic. These are not actual job aspirants who are out on the streets expressing their anger against the Agnipath scheme?
Is that for me?
Yes, Sanju.
Yeah. So my limited response to that is this. I am not somebody who believes in conspiracy theories or persecution complex. But look at the manner in which Priyanka Vadra, what statement did she give? I asked the Modi government to take back Agnipath scheme immediately. What is M.K. Stalin saying? One of the allies of the Congress party, pretty much singing the same tune. I want to ask Priyanka Vadra, the biggest symbol of the flop scheme, Ladki Hu, Lad Sakti Hu, what is it about the Agnipath scheme that has rattled you? Don't you want our youngsters to be imparted with skill sets? Don't you want the youth to be imparted with discipline? Don't you want the youth to have a nationalist fervor? Bhai, har koi Italian Sonia Mata Congress
Okay, Sanju, okay. Let the Congress spokesperson, let Supriya respond to that. Two questions to you, Supriya. One, Sanju says that these are not organic protests that are happening across the country. There's some force, some sort of hand behind it, possibly the opposition parties who are fanning these fires. And secondly, what is it that has rattled you so much about the Agnipath scheme?
Yeah, I think we are Firstly, it's been 5 days since the scheme was announced. The BJP spokespersons, the ministers ad nauseum going and explaining the scheme. लेकिन हर बार ऐसा क्यों होता है? किसानों को भी आप समझा नहीं पाए, देश के युवाओं को भी आप समझा नहीं पाते, सब लोग नासमझ हैं. Nobody understands what the BJP government's policies are. Nobody understands what they want to do, except for the BJP itself. And every time there is a protest in this country, whether it was farmers, 750 of them who died, whether it's India's youth today who's absolutely frustrated. And I will just in a minute tell you why. Every time there is a toolkit, there is an international conspiracy, whether it was Hathras, whether it was CA, whether it was the farmer protest, whether it was the protest against privatization of railways. Why is it that every time, where are the riots happening? They're happening in states ruled by the BJP, whether it's the BJP, and I unequivocally say, violence is no solution. People should shun violence completely. There has to be a Gandhiwadi satyagraha. We stand for it. We stand with you in it. So I request everybody to shun violence. But I will say one thing. And that one thing is that every time you come out with a scheme, there is an afterthought. Because there were protests, age limit was increased from 21 to 23. Because there was a protest, you are now giving sporadic reservations here and there. Who do you consult? You were consulting people for 2 years, but I have heard multiple men from the armed forces and experts say this is not a scheme. You should have done a pilot. You should have, had a small scheme to roll out to see what the impact will be. The other explanation being given for
this. Sanju, just let her finish her point and then you can counter it.
Poulomi, I don't do debates like this.
No, Sanju, you made your point. You made your point. Let her make her point. You will have all the time to counter it. Supriya.
The Congress is electorally over. You are down to being a small vernacular party. Stop taking the moral high ground and giving advice unsolicited one at that.
Sanju, please respond to the question. Respond to the point. The point that was made by Supriya. Is this an afterthought? Every time there's an afterthought, after there's a reaction on the ground from the farmers or from the youth of the country, there's an afterthought.
Poulomi, I'm still talking. I don't think she has any business heckling me. Put her damn faders down because this is not how they
Okay, wait. Hang on. Ladies, please.
No, Poulomi, I think it's still my turn to speak. You cut me short, she cut me short. Let me finish my point.
Okay. Sanju, just give her 30 seconds. Give her 30 seconds and you can counter. 30 seconds. That's it. Supriya, go on.
The BJP's own ally with whom they are in government in Bihar, the JDU is saying take back the scheme. Their own ministers like VK Singh, who's the ex-chief of army staff, is saying, I know nothing about this scheme. Amrinder Singh is a man who has served in uniform.
Okay. Got your point, Supriya. Sanju, please. Sanju, respond. Your own allies, people who are in fact affiliated with the Bharatiya Janata Party, NDA, Captain Amrinder Singh, JDU has its own reservations. JDU is saying review the scheme.
May I? Okay.
JDU.
Wait, Supriya, you made your point. Supriya, you made your point. Sanju, please respond.
Thank you, Poulomi. Poulomi, I'm surprised that the fact that JDU is possibly unhappy about this scheme, the fact that possibly Amrinder Singh is unhappy about this scheme, fine. We will do what needs to be done. But by virtue of the same logic, I would like to ask you, why are people not talking about the fact that Manoj Pandey, the Armed Forces Chief, he is very happy. He says this is a great scheme. Air Force Chief, the Admiral from the Navy, Mr. R. Hari Kumar, they have put their stamp of approval on the scheme. And mind you, I've heard retired army personnel, Captain Yogendra Yadav, Paramveer Chakra awardee of Kargil fame, has put his stamp of approval on the scheme. General J.J. Singh, another retired and a reputed army veteran, Lieutenant Colonel, another retired army veteran, JS.
But we're also seeing these protests on the streets. We're also seeing these protests on the street. In Bihar alone, protesters have run riot and damaged 700 crores worth of railway property.
Let me please, follow me. I want to say one important thing to you. Have you noticed, be it the farm protest, be it the protest over Agnipath, why is it that Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra, who have the time to give their opinion on everything under the sun, have not bothered to condemn the violence that has engulfed the country?
Okay, valid point. Supriya, do you want to respond to that? Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra saying justified anger, but are not condemning the violence. You did. Her question is Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi are not condemning it. Sanju, 1 second. Sanju, let her respond.
She has to keep quiet.
Supriya,
she has to keep quiet and be civil about these things. The country is burning. Be sensitive to that and respond to it. I will respond with just one thing. The Congress president has issued a statement, and in no unequivocal terms, she has asked the youth to show restraint and to protect the Gandhian way.
Supriya, I have one counter to that. Yesterday, NSUI workers were part of the protest that happened at Sikandrabad railway station, where one young man died as well because the police was compelled to open fire. NSUI workers.
I want to ask you a question. Is it sinful to protest in this country? And if the government is not being able to...
Nobody is saying you don't have the right to protest.
I'm sorry, this is not how I can talk. You will have to let me speak because this is not fair. You let somebody speak ad nauseum, and when I start speaking, ask me questions after I finish my answer. Modi ji ne is desh ko 16 crore rozgar dene ka wada kiya tha 8 saal mein. But at the end of 8 years, they come with a jumla 10 lakh rozgar denge 1.5 saal mein. She kept on justifying the anti-farmer laws. What did Modi have to do? He had to go back and roll back those reforms because they were anti-country. You will have to do this, and I am saying this is ill-conceived. It should have come with consensus. It should have come as a pilot. Which is why after all decisions are being made. If this was conceived very well, there shouldn't be after all decisions. That's what I'm saying.
Chair of the ED, keep quiet.
No, please. Sanju, respond. Supriya, you made your point. Okay, you made your point. You're talking about unemployment. You're talking about jobs. But an ill-conceived plan. Sanju, what she's talking about is unemployment. She's talking about jobs, the lack of jobs, but an ill-conceived plan.
No, I need to have uninterrupted time like you gave her. That's only fair. Okay. Follow me. I will first say this. This whole narrative that the BJP and Modi government have not been able to create jobs is completely a sham, and I'll tell you why, and I'm willing to be held accountable. The data is there in the public domain that under the EPFO, which tracks formal employment, every month we have been adding 13 lakh to anywhere between 15 lakh new subscribers. Assuming an average of 13 lakhs per month, it means 1.56 crore new subscribers every year. And if you extrapolate that over 8 years, we've added 12.48 crore new subscribers. And one more thing, you know how much has been given under the Mudra Yojana? Close to 19 lakh crore to 34.42 crore people. What about these 34.42 crore people who are today self-employed, self-reliant? What does Supriya Shrinate have to say about that?
Okay. Unfortunately, ladies, I've run out of time on this debate. What the centre is doing right now, is that an afterthought? We'll find out very soon, because will this in fact douse the fires that is being witnessed across the streets and the roads of the country? That is going to be extremely crucial. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. Sanju Verma and Supriya Shrinate of the Congress Party, and Sanju of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Thank you for putting across your thoughts over there. It remains to be seen if this was indeed an ill-conceived plan, or, as the centre said, they took 2 years' time to conceive this plan. They spoke to stakeholders across the spectrum, and that is when they came up with this 4-year recruitment plan for the armed forces.